Annie Costable, Front Office Sports. I'm curious, with the transfer portal being open, are you guys getting texts from people like, hey, good luck in the tournament, but what's it like at UConn?
Paige, you can start.
No.
Aubrey
No.
and Kaitlyn.
No.
Super easy. We'll go to the second row and then work our way over.
Jen Hadfield with the next. Kaitlyn, for you, just what do you think the biggest areas are that you've grown as a player during your season with UConn, and how do you feel like Princeton prepared you for all that you've gone through this season and for this moment?
I feel like Princeton has prepared me really well as a leader. I feel like that's where I got comfortable using my voice, and I feel like that's sort of translated over here. And then being here at UConn, it's just a matter of getting comfortable playing within our system and finding the best places for me to succeed.
We're going to go to our left.
Coach Trey from SB Nation. This is for you, Paige. Right now, you on a tear. Like, you going wild right now. In your mind, do you already feel like you're a pro going against college kids?
No, not at all. Just being present here. I'm still in college. It being my 5th year. Obviously, I want to use my experience as an advantage and use that to help myself and to help the team. But definitely, just staying present here in college.
We're going to stay to our right. Kareem, if you could raise your hand, I see you. We'll put you on the list.
Hey, Paige, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. How did you, obviously the championship is the goal, but how did you kind of want to approach this one more run in this tournament? And, like you just said, you've kind of really turned it up these last 3. So personally, how did you want to approach this tournament?
Just approaching it as one game at a time, one practice at a time, one weight room session at a time, and not looking too forward into the future and going 40 minutes by 40 minutes. And playing it by possession, I think focusing on the possession that you're in will help you not worry about missed shots or mistakes in the past or worry about being anxious for the future, but the possession that you're in is the most important possession of the season. And if you approach every possession like that, you'll have a sense of urgency to get everything right. And just enjoying it, embracing it. Obviously, it's my last year. It's all of our last years here. So just to be able to enjoy being here together and enjoy the little things like hanging out, saunaing together, cold tubbing together, eating together, like all the little things that you sometimes take for granted. Don't take them for granted and just enjoy them as much as you can.
We'll stay to our right. Doug, please raise your hand.
Doug Feinberg, The Associated Press. For all 3 of you, what challenges does UCLA present for you guys?
Start?
Yes, please.
Obviously, Lauren Betts, the size, what she does offensively, defensively, protecting the paint, and being a force on offense, really carving out space for herself, but also what she does to get her teammates open looks with all the attention that she draws. And it's not just her. There's shooters sprayed around the outside, so you can't focus on too much on one thing. So they're really versatile in what they do offensively, defensively. Got good size, good length. So they got great pieces.
I agree. They have great pieces, especially Lauren Betts in the inside. And I think if we do a good job of we gotta play both and play their inside and outside. They have some great shooters too, so I think they're very versatile. Yeah, everything the 2 of them already said.
We're going to the center of the room.
Hi, Paige. Kurt Sandoval from ABC7. When you stepped into this program, it's a legendary women's program. Can you speak to, A, the pressure then, and did it ever diminish? How did it become, or has it ever become just normal?
Well, I think before you even get here, you kind of know the pressures that exist by committing to UConn. So by making that decision to want to come here and try to live up to that and be a part of a legendary program, it's a decision you have to make before you even step on a campus. And then once you walk inside the practice facility, you see all the history, all the names, all the banners. It's just motivation, and obviously there's expectations here, and anything less than a national championship is really a disappointment. And as players, that's what you play for and what you want to live up to, and the expectations and the pressure. It's a privilege, and so we all look at it as such. And we're just extremely grateful to play here under the best coaching staff in the world and in the best program in the world. And we just wear the jersey with pride and want to live up to everything that the alums have done and that the coaching staff has done.
Take our next question, Cassandra, then we'll come to Mel.
Cassandra Negley with Yahoo Sports. Paige, when you were talking about not taking anything for granted, the saunas, the food, everything like that, how different is that from your first Final Four? Do you feel like you did take those final moments with some of those teammates for granted?
I wouldn't say that. It's just that you don't even recognize how important they are to life and how you're not ever guaranteed to get back there again. And having experience being at the Final Four, how hard it is to get there and how hard it is to maintain consistency throughout a long entire season. So not that you take those things for granted, but you don't have the experience on how hard it is to get there. And so just learning throughout the whole journey of the seasons, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, just taking none of that for granted because it's all a part of that season's journey. So I would just say a more appreciation of it.
Mel?
Mel Greenberg for Kaitlyn. When most people are transferring out the door right now, it's contentious. The Ivies, it's the other way. They tell you you're done, good luck. So it's going to be a more friendly departure, given who your coach is. And also, we found it interesting the other night that you did the same role that she did in '95 as sort of a lifesaver in a key spot. But in leaving, did she kind of, granted he's an older guy now, give you the book of UConn or whatever, whatever you can share on that when you were making your decision?
She was definitely a very helpful resource as someone who played here and knows the coaches very well. But I just know that she had my best interest in mind, and she's someone who I trust tremendously, and someone who helped me make this decision for sure.
Going to go to our left in the gray, if you could raise your hand. Yep, dead center.
I'm Mike Anthony from Hurston, Connecticut for Paige. Paige, I know that this sport isn't easy on one's body. In your 5 years at UConn, what have you learned about taking care of your body? Wondering if you could just speak to how any body transformation you've seen in 5 years. I know you take more seriously strength and conditioning and nutrition, and just a lot goes into that, I understand.
Yeah, I would say the importance of eating, getting all 3 meals, of course, but also stuff in between. Sleeping, how important that is for the body and rest and recovery, and making sure you're replenishing yourself with a good night's rest. Pilates has been a game changer for me in terms of getting all of my body parts to work together as one, everything surrounded by the core. So making sure my core is engaged, and even just activation. I was a person who just loved to tie their shoes and get on the court and play, but activating my muscles before participation. So, I mean, a lot of things go into taking care of your body, and obviously strength and conditioning is the main ingredient, but there's a lot of other things that are important.
Going to stay middle to the back, if you could raise your hand in the green so the student athletes can see you.
Don Memori, Hartford Current. Paige, I know Gino alluded to this the other day. Obviously, Lauren Betts has talked about it. The scrutiny and the pressure that comes with what you do and where you do it. How did you learn to kind of deal with that? I imagine there were times when it was even more than you thought it was going to be. How did you learn to handle all of that goes around being a basketball player at UConn?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a learning process. Learning to care less about the opinions of others, and trying to please everyone. For every 500 people that love you, there's going to be 5 that hate you. So it's just focusing on the people that are important. And obviously there's a saying like, you don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. So just making sure you're listening to the right voices. Deleting social media is a great word of advice as well. So just not paying attention to it, not letting anything outside of this locker room, the program that we have, infiltrate what we have. So.
We're going to stay to our left in the blue. If you could raise your hand so we can get the microphone to you.
Chelsea Sherrod, SNY. Aubrey and Kaitlyn, this question's for you. Paige has talked about a sense of urgency that she's playing with right now, and I think we've been seeing that over the past few games. I wonder what that urgency looks like for the two of you and kind of how that shows up in your approach to the games.
We can start with Aubrey.
I think her sense of urgency rubs off on everyone, just how hardworking she is, and you can tell she's really determined, and the traits that she brings to the game, it rubs off on everyone. Her leadership is something that we all look up to her for, and she's done a great job of just being that leader this year, and it's overall been great.
Yeah. And I feel like when we see her sort of take it into like that next level, like turn the switch during games, it's pretty infectious. Like it's something you want to be a part of, and you see her giving her all, and so like you want to give your all as well.